Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of this Q&A series where I take your questions and I answer them, all with some random gameplay footage in the background and usually accompanied by a cup of tea, which I have right here. And it's just cooling down, so I'm going to leave that, put that back over there. Anyway, hello, how are we all doing? It's been a little while since the last Q&A episode. Sorry about that, life just gets in the way, all that jazz, work and friends and yeah. But we're back and I'm going to continue to read your questions that you've submitted to this Google Sheets. So thank you all very much. If you would like to submit your own questions for me to answer at some point, check the description below. There is a link to a Google form. You can put your question, put your name, and I will eventually get around to it. Hopefully it won't take me another month to make a video, but we'll see. We shall see. Anyway, let's get straight on into the questions with the first one from Thomas Hazelden. Hello, Thomas, who asks, how has YouTube affected you as a person? And that's a very good question. How has YouTube affected me as a person? It's kind of difficult to tell in many ways because since I've been doing it for so long, over 7 years now, how much I would have changed just naturally over that time and how much I've changed because of YouTube, there's probably a blurred line. But I do think about this quite often about what it's actually done to me doing Let's Plays and all sorts of stuff. But I think on a personal level, I hope so anyway, I think that making Let's Plays and videos has made me slightly more confident. I don't know. This is one of the things. It might have just been that I was a shy kid anyway, or like a sort of shy teenager. Maybe not shy, but sort of kept myself to myself. And I'd like to think that I'm a bit more outgoing now and a bit more of an extrovert. And I think that has definitely got something to do with YouTube because you have to put on this sort of not a fake personality, but you do have to sort of make yourself entertaining and sound enthusiastic and be interesting to a certain extent. And it's not always the case. Sometimes I'm very boring and I ramble about lots of stupid stuff. But I'd like to think that, doing YouTube has made me sort of a bit more confident in myself and a bit more confident in speaking and presenting myself to other people. It's also given me the ability to, this might be a bad thing, I don't know, the ability to ramble away about all sorts of rubbish for as long as necessary. It's one of those things where, especially when you first start Let's Playing, you get very worried about awkward silences. You don't want there to be a silence, so often you'll just keep talking and talking and talking, filling up the gaps, making sure that there's no pauses, and often that would leave you talking about really stupid stuff on screen, like, oh no, I'm getting shot, oh, you die now, and generally not very interesting commentary. But I think over the years I've tried to sort of twist that, and if I do talk, I talk about interesting things, sometimes not, but yeah, it's definitely come up in my head when I'm talking to people and I'm realizing that I'm simply talking to fill a silence. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, shut up, Joe, just stop talking. No one cares. No one cares about what you're saying, but I just keep going. So yeah, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. It's probably helped me wing my way out of a few situations when I've needed to, which, I'm going to go over positive. So that's quite, as a personal level, how it's affected me. And also, it's quite nice to know that there are people that want to watch your content. Obviously, that's a very satisfying feeling, and I do appreciate any kind comments that I get. I got one the other day, which was very nice, and it was just, I don't know, little comments like that about, I really enjoy your Let's Plays, and I've watched the whole way through. It pops up on my phone if I'm at work, and it's just, that's nice. So some gratification is always nice. But also, if we take into account the JSUNO fan server, the JFS, that's affected me as a person massively in that I've made new friends and met new friends in real life now, on JFS meetups, to London at Minecon or Belgium last year in Brussels. That's definitely affected me. I've made new friends, and hopefully friends that I'll maintain even after YouTube or whenever that will be. I'd like to think I'd still maybe keep in touch with these guys. Not just JFS, obviously. The same goes for people like Honest Tom 23, who now obviously doesn't do YouTube, and I don't speak to him as much because of that. But I'd like to think that if we ever met up again, like we did in October last year, it would be fine because we've had that relationship. Ooh, that sounds weird, but that relationship on YouTube beforehand. So both personally and socially, I would say YouTube has affected me massively, and definitely for the better. So that's great. Okay, next question. That was a long, rambly one. Next question, again from Thomas Hazelden. He asks, what is your favourite and least favourite food and drink? I have a feeling I may have answered this, but I've now forgot what I said, since it might have been years ago when I answered it. So let's go with... And it might have changed as well. Let's go with favourite first. I think my favourite food is probably pizza. Pizza's just like, you don't need to worry about it. You're probably going to like it. You can get sort of different styles of pizza, different toppings. Pizza's just like, it's just easy and always nice, generally. I think that probably makes it my favourite. You could also have favourite as in like fancy foods that you only have very often. Maybe something like a roast dinner in that case would be a favourite food of mine, but you don't have that often. Like maybe, well, you're supposed to have it once every Sunday, but we don't have every Sunday. So, yeah. Favourite drink? I guess I should say something like water and be healthy, but it's not. I hate drinking water. I usually put it with squash or cordial. I'm going to say actually, for favourite drink, milk. I love milk. I would happily just drink milk all day, every day. Full fat milk. Sorry, it's got to be the blue tops if you're in the UK, the blue coloured tops. I don't mind semi-skimmed milk, but I definitely cannot drink skimmed milk, the ones with the red tops, because that's just white coloured water. You're just taking all the milk out of it. But no, I love milk. Least favourite food and drink. Least favourite food, probably some sort of fishy food. I'm not a big fan of seafood, like crabs, like crab sticks. Ooh, just the look of them creeps me out. Maybe that, or like prawns I don't really like very much. I mean, I haven't tried them in years, so my palate might have changed, but I think a lot of seafood I don't like. Bog standard bit of fish, that's fine, but yeah. But say, I need to try some. I need to try some again. I live near the sea. There's no excuse not to go out and try some fresh seafood. Some prawns, some shrimp, some oysters even. I can go try some oysters. Ugh. Big bogey. Least favourite drink? My tea. Actually, yeah, speaking of tea. So I think it is actually a variety of tea. Oh, that is like optimum drinking temperature. I've got to hurry up. I think I really dislike fruit tea. I love normal tea. I love Earl Grey tea. I love Red Bush tea. Like any type of tea that's like sort of still normal-ish, I don't mind. But as soon as you get fruit, like, or not even just fruit, like mint as well, like peppermint tea, or I don't know, blueberry tea or whatever, all the sorts of weird varieties, pomegranate tea they have now. I'm not a big fan, and it's because it reminds me of the medicine. You know, when you get sachets of blackcurrant powder and you mix it with boiling water to make the cough drink. Every time I have a fruit tea, it reminds me of that, and I can't drink it. It makes me gag. So, fruit tea is probably my least favourite. Well, but you weren't expecting that, were you? Tea as one of my least favourite drinks, but just fruit tea. Okay, thank you for the questions, Thomas. On to the next one by Scooby Snacks, and they ask, what age did you start drinking? Well, I hoped I started when I was a baby. Else how am I alive today? No, you probably mean alcoholic drinking, right? What age did I start drinking alcohol? I wasn't, and surprise, surprise, I wasn't some little hooligan when I was younger. I was a good boy. I was a good student, and I didn't go out and hang out with the wrong crowds when I was younger, really. So I didn't start drinking very young. I think probably around... my monitor's gone off. Come on, come back. Probably around 16 or 17, started drinking beer and not hating it. I'd obviously tried it before then. I think in the UK, you can be. I think you can be 14 and have a beer if you're with an adult and it's with a meal. I'm not too sure about that law. There's a law or something like that. Someone might be able to fill me in. But I'd had it before. But when you're that young, beer just tastes horrible, doesn't it? And you wouldn't you wouldn't have things like vodka and any spirits when you're that age. So yeah, I'm going to say probably 16 or 17 I started drinking beer. Then I started to enjoy Guinness, which is a stout. And then obviously you start drinking things like vodka or gin. I love gin. Oh, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to say that age. Okay, thank you, Scooby Snacks. The next question is from Kyle Bennett. And he asks, what is your favourite Let's Play you've done on your channel so far? This one, I definitely have answered this, and I think I've said in the past it was Jak and Daxter, the original one. Well, it's only Jak and Daxter I've done. So, it probably still is that. Maybe Simpsons Hit and Run. Maybe a point and click as well. I do like some of the point and clicks I've done. Back to the Future I really enjoyed, and I think it went really well. And it's just, yeah, great films, great games, just tied together. So, it's too hard, Kyle. I don't know what my favourite is. I have many favourites. That's like trying to pick a favourite child. You can't do it. Unless one of them's ugly, then you wouldn't pick that one. No, not really. Okay, next question. We got some more from Thomas. He asks, what's your favourite and least... Well, that's for favourites. I like these ones because they're a bit simpler to answer. Favourite and least favourite superhero? Well, I recently watched... And I won't, no spoilers, don't worry. I recently watched Avengers Infinity War. And I didn't know many of... I'm not a massive Marvel fan. So I haven't seen all the Marvel films. So I didn't know who all of the people were in it. I think the last Marvel film I saw before that was maybe Age of Ultron. Like I didn't see any of the individual ones. I've just seen the Avengers. But even still, I think I'm going to go with Batman. I know that's DC, but I still like Batman as a character more than any of the Marvel ones. I really do. I think it mainly is because of The Dark Knight as well. Those films were just so good. I love them. Least favourite superhero? Right, I'm going to try and pick one from Infinity War, because... who was it? I didn't like... Oh, here we go. Here we go. Opened a can of worms now. I didn't like... I think it's from Guardians of the Galaxy. Is it Drax? Didn't like him. Yeah, not a big fan. Ant-Man. Actually, he wasn't in it, but don't really like him. Another favourite could be Spider-Man, actually. I do like Spider-Man. Ooh, is it Spider-Man or Batman? Both. But yeah, least favourite... Captain America, I'm not a big fan of. I'll be honest with you. Maybe that's because I'm not American. Yeah. Anyway, there's some. I don't know. One of those, I guess. Another one from Thomas is, if you could remove something from Minecraft, what would it be and why? That's interesting. Usually the question is, what would you add to Minecraft? But if I could remove something from Minecraft. So, has there been an update that I really didn't like? There's lots of pointless things in Minecraft, but I guess that doesn't mean they should necessarily be removed. Things like endermites, things like polar bears, pointless creatures in the game, really. Bats are kind of useless. But yeah, those are things that I don't really care if they do stay because they're not really harming anything. One thing that really does get on my nerves, and this was definitely apparent when I was playing the From Ashes Reborn CTM map with Naxa and Joda, and I've known this before, but it's just annoying, is when they changed the way that hunger works. You know how you have to eat in Minecraft to get stamina to run and stuff like that? They changed it so that gaining hearts of health also takes away from your hunger, and that sounds like it would make sense, right? Like, okay, yeah, if you're healing, that would like drain energy. That makes sense. But what that actually means is when you're playing the game, because there's actually like a secondary saturation bar that you don't see, it's really confusing. I don't really understand how it all works, but there's like an extra bar you don't see, and then that's also tied to what am I trying to say here? Basically, what you could do is you could be eating food to try and heal, but as soon as you're healing, you're taking down the food that you've just eaten, so you stop healing. So your hearts will stay. Say if you're on really low health and you're about to die, you'll eat and eat and eat as much as you can until your bar's full, but your hearts are just stuck there for like a good 5 seconds, and it doesn't make any sense because, well, it does make sense in what's going on in the background of all these saturation bars are filling up and it's making that go up and that go down, but what you're actually seeing on screen doesn't make sense because it looks like it's just got stuck, and then you have to wait for your saturation to go back down to then top it up to then make the hearts carry on. It sounds really confusing, but if you play Minecraft, you probably know what I'm talking about, and I find that really frustrating because it's not intuitive at all, and I wish I'd change that back and remove that feature because it's dumb. It's dumb. You hear that, Dinnerbone? It's dumb. Alright, that's it. I've calmed down now. I've calmed down. How long have we been going for? Okay, we can do a few more questions. The next one is from Awesome Gamer. Hello, Awesome Gamer. Have you ever thought about doing a face reveal? This question. Yes. Have I ever thought about doing a face reveal? No. I know that some people would like to see my face, my beautiful, pretty face, which would break mirrors. But no, I've never had the inclination to, because I don't think it's necessary to know what I look like to enjoy my videos. I know people will disagree with that, and I understand why people would disagree with that. Some people would like to see the face behind the voice. No, the face behind the voice. Anyway, some people would like to know, but it's just never been something that has crossed my mind to do. I'm not really against doing it. I'm not against doing it, but I don't have the tools really to have like a nice video face reveal. I don't have a nice camera. I don't have a webcam or anything. I don't have any of that. But and also I wouldn't think of a good reason to do it. Like I can't do vlogs. I don't know. Vlogs just seem, I'd just be really bad at them. And like, I'd never do the little face cam in the corner of videos because that's just, I find that a bit weird. So I'd never do that. Yeah, it's one of those things where I'm not really against it, but I'm just not for it enough to actually do it. I hope that makes sense, and I'm sorry to anyone that really wants to see my face. Maybe someday on the channel. I'm not going to say I'm never going to do it, because, yeah, like I've just said, I don't really care too much. If I got like a really fancy camera and a nice place to record, then maybe I would. I'm going on holiday soon to Canada, in fact, for a friend's wedding, and I'm tempted to vlog some of my trip out there. And if I do get some nice footage, I might upload it to the channel, maybe, and I wouldn't care if my face is in it or not. So we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Alright, let's have one more question. It's a long one. Oh, I've made a mistake here. It's from Ben Wells. Okay. Oh, blimey, here we go. Who are some historical or relatively modern day figures you admire or have looked up to, and why? For myself, it's got to be Bonhoeffer, Supreme Court Justice Robert Jackson, and whoever is the first person to invent a thought-controlled refrigerator which prepares for you a sandwich when telepathically asked to. He or she would get my third spot for the most admirable figures. And if that one is too difficult, where does queso come from? Does it come from bees? Oh, blimey. Okay. What are some historically or relatively modern day figures you admire? Sorry, I'm just burping here. That I admire or have looked up to, and why? Historical or relatively modern day. Does it have to be... You've put, like, smart people. Do I have to put smart people? Actually, I don't know. Who's Bonhoeffer? I'm going to have to quickly look this up. Hang on. Oh, okay, right. Bonhoeffer, yes. I remember learning about him in history, I think. No, I must have. I just have terrible memory. So, favourite? No, not favourite. Historical or modern day figures I look up to. This was indeed a tricky question. I don't really know where to begin. I must have some. I can't think. Like, at first, I was really very British. I was like, oh, the Queen, Queen Elizabeth II. And although I do joke about that, and I do joke about the Queen a lot, really, I do think the royal family is a good thing. I'm not. That's not to say I am obsessed with this upcoming royal wedding, or it might have already passed by the time I upload this. But yeah, I'm not obsessed with that sort of thing. But I think it is nice to have a royal family, and I don't know, the sort of tradition of it and the history of it, I like as a British person. That's very divisive. Some people hate the royal family in this country and they want to see them gone. But no, I do like, and I think you can't really argue that the Queen's done anything wrong. She stays out of politics. She's just there as the head of the state and does all the things around the world and does a good job. So I think the Queen is probably someone who's done quite good to look up to. The old gal, you go, Liz. But then that got me thinking more about other British people. I think it would be nice if I picked someone British. I know that you didn't necessarily pick someone American, but actually you did, but not all American. But yeah, I don't know. Then that made me think about someone like Turin, who, especially in today's age, we look back on and we see all the horrible stuff that happened with him and the homosexual therapy that he was given, the treatment which ultimately led to his suicide. But the things he did, not only for how do I word this? Obviously, you have all the code breaking, Enigma machine cracking, World War II stuff, which is great. But then you have now, with hindsight, the LGBT values and the way that we think about those things and the way that we react to those things now, and the fact that finally, after so many years, for example, the government apologised and I think they pardoned him of his crimes of being gay at the time. I think they've done that. So yeah, I think Turin's probably a pretty good one to look up to. That being said, I still haven't seen that film yet. I need to watch that film with Cumberbatch. What's it called? The Theory of Everything? No, that's the Stephen Hawking one. Imitation Game. Something like that. I'm going to leave it there for that. That's a tricky question. If I ever think of any better answers, I'll let you know. But I did also look up queso. Where does it come from? I'm going to say cows. Don't know. Anyway, that's going to do it for now. My tea is getting a little bit too cold, so I'm going to drink this. Like I said at the beginning, if you have any questions you'd like to ask me, look in the description below. You'll find a link to a Google form where you can put your question and your name so I can credit you. I'm sorry it's been a little while since the previous one. Hopefully the next one won't be so far away. But thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.